fact of the day.
Hello, hi, and welcome to Fact Today with me, my Lotsu. Today's Fact Today is about a place called Chernobyl. I don't know if you've heard of it, but in April, on April 26th in 1986, there was a accident at reactor number 4 in the nuclear power plant. It was in what was the USSR, but now is the Ukraine. An explosion caused thousands of tons of nuclear radiation to be released into the environment. It caused a fire that burned for 11 days, and the amount of waste that was released was 400 times the amount that was released from the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. At the time, dozens of people died, hundreds of thousands of people were evacuated, and subsequently thousands of people died from thyroid cancer and other types of cancers, and there's still, even now, residual effects of the radiation causing birth defects in Belarus, in Ukraine, and in Russia. All this was absolutely horrendous. So this is 1986, right? And at the time, people said you can't return for hundreds, if not thousands of years. There's a group of people, mainly women, old, and there's about 187 of them, and they, in 1993, 7 years later, said, you know what, we don't like living in Kiev, because they all got moved to Kiev. They said, we don't like living there, we're going to go back and live in Chernobyl. We're going to go back and live in our houses, which is in the exclusion zone. The exclusion zone is the area you can't live in because there's so much radioactive waste there. So they went back to live in there. They went back to live there. And one woman, so they're called babushkas in Russian, which means grandma. And one woman, she knelt down on the ground, picked up the soil and put it in her mouth and said, I'm never going to leave this place. This is completely irradiated soil. There's radioactive stuff everywhere in this place, and they went back to live there. And in some cases, they lived longer than the people that moved out. So they lived, for some cases, 10 years longer than the people that moved out. That's absolutely insane. Now, there are loads of scientists around the area who live on the outskirts. Obviously, I don't want to go into it because there's still loads of radiation there. And they're there to examine the amount of wildlife, because there's wild boar, there's elk, there's deer, there's wolves, there's lynx, there's turtles. All of these have returned due to one factor, mostly because man isn't there. Because man isn't there, all of these animals are thriving and looking at the wildlife that's there. Okay? That is fact today. So think next time you think, oh, how tough's my grandma? Is she tough enough to go back to Chernobyl after or I don't know, you might say, is she crazy enough to do that? That's it for me. See you later. Love you, bye. Love you.